What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, what we'll be doing is discussing a topic that many players have asked me about, and that's a lack of improvement in Fortnite. A lot of players feel like they're doing the right things to improve, but still can't seem to hit champs, can't seem to win 1v1s against their friends, among various other issues. So in today's video, we'll be diving into some reasons that you might not be improving in Fortnite, and then I'll be offering solutions to each of them. And real quick before we get into it, I want to mention that I've been streaming on Twitch way more often lately. On stream, you can ask me any questions you have about improving at the game. I tend to do a lot of box fights and zone wars with viewers and a ton of Champs Arena and stuff like that. So if any of that sounds cool to you, then be sure to check it out. You can find the stream over on twitch.tv/techo, and it'll also be linked at the top of the description if you want to drop a follow. That way you know whenever I go live. With that said though, and without further ado, let's get into the video. So the first issue that I see with a lot of players, which tends to hold a lot of people back mechanically, is suboptimal settings. Whether you play controller, keyboard and mouse, or even mobile, settings are one of the most critical factors when it comes to having good mechanics, and nailing down some good settings is really going to put you a step ahead when it comes to improving at the game. Now obviously I won't be able to give exact settings, sensitivities, and keybinds for all platforms in this one video alone, but I do have plenty of videos on my channel that cover settings, so be sure to check those out if you're struggling. You might not quite know yet whether or not this tip applies to you, but it's pretty simple to figure out. If you tend to feel uncomfortable with your keyboard or controller when you play, you feel like you can't press each button fast enough, or you just feel like your gameplay fails to improve after long-term consistent practice, chances are that your settings could go for a change. Mixing your keybinds around, tweaking your sensitivity, or even potentially doing a full overhaul of your settings could be your key to improving an insane amount. So if you feel like you've reached a big mechanical plateau, try experimenting with some settings. Feel free to refer to my other settings videos as well if you're not too sure where to start, and chances are these settings adjustments could have a notable impact on your gameplay. With that said, the next major mistake that's holding you back from improving in Fortnite is one that's been discussed a fair amount within the community, but it's still pretty much a staple when it comes to increasing your rate of improvement, and that's practice efficiency. Obviously, we only have 24 hours in a day, and between school, work, and other responsibilities, most of us simply aren't going to have all day to grind the game in practice, which is why it's so critical to use your time effectively. And even if you do somehow have all day to play, you'd be far better off with 4 hours of efficient practice compared to 10 hours of super inefficient practice. So with that said, you may be wondering, what is actually considered efficient practice? Efficient practice doesn't necessarily have to mean sitting in creative practicing piece control all day, nor does it have to mean having some exact routine that fits every little variable perfectly. Instead, efficient practice really just means avoiding wasted time and not doing things that are blatantly useless for improvement. A few of those might include things like mindlessly running around in creative or sitting on the lobby screen. If you have 4 hours to play the game, for example, and you spend that time going through practice methods like 1v1s, piece control maps, aim training, arena, and other things of that nature, you'll see way more improvement than someone who sits around on the game for 10 hours with no real purpose and kind of just sits there waiting for something to do. So next time you're hopping in game, try to have at least a general idea of what you're going to do when you play, whether you're developing a full routine for yourself or simply planning out a few practice methods, and you should see a lot of improvement by doing that. With that said, another huge mistake that I see so many players making, which seems to stop a lot of players from improving, is what I call low-level practice. Low-level practice in Fortnite essentially means using practice methods that are easy for you. Things like going up against players you can easily beat and really just not giving yourself a proper stimulus to actually improve at the game. This is one of those things that I see so many players doing, and for the most part they don't even realize it. If you're trying to improve but find that hopping on Fortnite and going through your practice methods is a total breeze, then chances are you're not improving due to the sheer fact that you're not challenging yourself. Whether it's using practice maps that are too easy, practicing 1v1s against people who you can already beat, or even playing public matches instead of arena, overall it's just critical that you avoid repeatedly practicing in ways that are easy for you, since doing something easy over and over again at a certain point doesn't really give your brain that much stimulus to actually learn and continue to improve at the game. On the other hand, high-level practice refers to practice that consistently challenges you and really gives you a good stimulus to kind of learn and improve at the game, compared to low-level practice where it's all simple and easy. So overall, if you find your practice getting easier and easier and the players you go against to be easy to wipe out consistently, then it's probably about time to switch it up and either figure out a new practice routine or make some adjustments to what you're already doing. That way you can continue to challenge yourself and in turn improve dramatically at the game. Moving on to this next tip, and we've got arguably one of the most important traits any high-level player will have, and that's the ability to learn from their mistakes. To put it simply, being able to recognize and then fix your mistakes is easily one of the best ways to step up your game in Fortnite. Whether you made a silly edit, missed your shots, or just simply took a bad fight, being able to look back on your games, recognize what went wrong, and then take the necessary steps to avoid it happening in the future is one of the most important things you can do if you're looking to to pursue the game on a competitive level. There's no denying that in Fortnite, you're probably going to get a lot of rough RNG, but solely blaming RNG for your death or blaming your opponent's ping or anything like that pretty much instantly shuts off your brain's signal that you may have done something wrong, and it sets up a serious mental roadblock when it comes to learning and improving at the game. Being able to recognize a death as your own fault and then figure out how to fix it will seriously help you take your game to the next level, and failing to do this is what holds a lot of players back from improving. Finally guys, moving into the last section of this video, the final topic that we're going to be covering is one that many players can probably relate to, and that's mentality mistakes. I say mentality mistakes and not a specific one because there are simply so many mentality mistakes that can be made. From having low confidence in fights to getting super mad at the game to simply having low motivation, there are simply so many issues that you can have on the mental side of things that can turn an insane player into just a decent player. Obviously, since this topic is so broad, I can't really give a one-size-fits-all solution to every issue, but if you do notice yourself having any of the issues that I talked about, then I'd recommend that you check out another video of mine once you finish this. The video is called How to Improve Your Mentality in Fortnite and covers a ton of mentality issues that you may have. These especially pertain to confidence, raging and tilting, and overall positivity. If you have another mentality issue that might not fit any of those though, the real key is just to figure out what your issue is and where it comes from, and then try to attack it from the source. It could be a negative influence from someone you play with, you could be making irrational decisions in game, or a variety of other things. Really though, your goal should be to figure out what your issue is, figure out what causes it, and then fix it from the source. But with all that said guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video on why you're not improving in Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 7. If this video helped you out, be sure to drop a like on it and consider subscribing as well if you want to see more content just like this in the future. As well as that, consider using code TECHO in the item shop if you're feeling extra generous, as it really does help me out a bunch. And finally guys, if you do want to stop by some of the Twitch streams and see what's up, or see any of my other social media like Twitter and Instagram, that's all going to be linked right down in the description. With all that said though, thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.